Is 2 o'clock straight up, so I think I'm going to begin the event that we have planned. So let me start by welcoming everybody, both on the panel as well as those that are watching and participating in our webinar today. We're excited to have all of you here. This is such a wonderful opportunity for the Washougal School District. I'm Dr. Mary Templeton. I am the superintendent of said school district. I am proud of our district. As you probably are aware, we have big ideas for our district. We do see ourselves rising to be a top performer in the state of Washington. We are well on our way. And today's event is just another aspect of that excellence and opportunity that we're offering all of our families. Today, you're going to learn a lot about our Washougal Learning Academy, and those that are on the panel will be helping and assisting you with information. I understand there'll be a question and answer opportunity at the end, but let me introduce our panelists to you very quickly. And then I have just a couple things to say in reference to the excitement we feel for the WLA opportunity. So you have with you today, you have Mark Clements, and Mark is joining us as a consultant, has many, many years in the field working with programs similar to this. So we are thrilled to have him working with us, and we're thankful. We have Renee Burson, Assistant Superintendent of Teaching and Learning. Renee is the mastermind behind this entire plan. And in fact, she's been working on this plan to see our district realize this dream for about 2 years since she's been the Assistant Superintendent. So this is an exciting day for all of us. And then we have Rebecca Woodings, a wonderful third grade teacher, formerly third grade teacher, now teacher of WLA, is joining us as your excellent educator for this program. So Rebecca comes with a wonderful resume, high regard from her colleagues and her students. So we're thrilled to have her in that position. And then rounding out the team is Lester Brown. Les is our Director of Communications as well as Technology. So he will be here to support us through this process. So just let me conclude real quickly by letting you know that the Washougal Learning Academy is an opportunity for our families. It's a family-friendly opportunity to see public education for your child. It's a flexible opportunity. It's customized. It has individual learning plans for your child. It allows for the structure that you might want your child to have, but it also allows for the flexibility that some of our lives and family situations need. So we think it's a wonderful addition to what we already offer in our school district. Project-based learning, that the hands-on projects and ideas that your children will be learning, deep learning through those activities. Again, we are committed to knowing, nurturing, and challenging all of our students to rise. And this is just one more way that we're going to be able to do that. So with that said, I will turn it over now to Assistant Superintendent Renee Burson for the rest of the program. Renee?
All right, thank you, Dr. Templeton. Like Mary had said, we're very excited to be bringing this new program to Washougal. I am actually presenting live from what will be Washougal Learning Academy's new home. So I'm in Hathaway, just outside of the Hathaway School building. We have some buildings that have been used for community programs like our community preschool. There's already a start to a community garden here, which we'll hope to expand upon, but we actually have our new home now. So we're getting ready and getting excited about students returning to us. So some housekeeping things before we get started. One is that we're recording this meeting. So if you type a question into the chat, I'll be monitoring the chat when Rebecca presents. And then if you have a question there, we won't read your name off live. But if you do raise your hand in the chat room and have a question and you ask your question live, you will be recorded. So we just want everybody to know that. We're recording this for those people that can't make this meeting at this time, so they'll get the information as well. Mary mentioned a little bit about this, that this is not just a response to COVID, that there is a need right now for learning to look different. However, this has been a goal of ours for the last couple of years. We started talking to families and asking families who were looking for programs outside of our district what things they were looking for and how we could serve them. It was really important to us to serve all of our students in the Washougal School District. So as we think about Washougal knows, nurtures, and challenges all students to rise, that's our vision statement. we know that we need some flexible programs to make sure that we reach all students. And so we're looking at what are those learning experiences that make sure that all of our students are rising. So we want to design a flexible program with the whole child in mind. And that's our goal, is to work with you to build this program and think about how do we meet the needs of all of our students. At this point in time, I'm excited to partner with you to build the program, and also with Rebecca Woodings. When I thought about this program, I reached out to Rebecca because she has knowledge of technology, she is innovative, and I'm just really amazed at what she's done so far, and I'm excited to partner with her in this program. So at this time, I'd like to introduce Rebecca Woodings.
Thank you, Renee. So this is very different for me. I'm used to being in the classroom. I've taught middle school, I've taught elementary school, I've even done birth to 3 developmental special services. So I've done a little bit of everything. So now we get to do some partnering with families and working with you. And I'd like to share a presentation with you. So I'm going to screen share. This is going to be quite, wait, can you guys see it? I don't think you can you?
So if you would, can you make it go full screen?
So present?
Yeah, probably. It'll make the size of it much larger.
Okay.
And I think it's on the wrong screen now for the audience to see it.
Okay, let me try that again.
No worries.
Oh, I think I just lost it, so hold on. Okay, you know, technical difficulties.
Where you say something like, is there a tech in the house? Yeah.
Yeah.
So while you're looking to see if you can get it to come back up, you might have minimized it. It might have gone down into the dock. So, but in general, yeah, if you go present, that'll make it much, much larger for the audience to be able to actually read the text that's on it. Thank you, Rebecca.
Do you know if they are seeing it now?
I see it.
Looks great.
On my end.
Okay. Oh, somebody said it is. Yes. Awesome. Thank you for letting me know in the chat and reading the chat. So thank you for letting me know. So again, the Washougal Learning Academy is a non-traditional education program. That means it's not just in a classroom. It's not necessarily just in a school building. We can do those things, but it doesn't have to take place there. So again, I'm going to say Washougal School District has been working on this for a little while. I'm new to this, but Renee's been working in the background, and together we are building this from the ground up. So I want to work with families to figure out what's going to work well with our community. So I've been fortunate enough to be working with Mark Clements, since he has so much experience with this kind of program. But again, Washougal is a unique place, and we get to develop a unique customized program for our district. So let me tell you a little bit about what Washougal Learning Academy is. So we are definitely family oriented. That means that the whole family is going to be part of this process. It's not just a student going to school and learning in a classroom. The whole family gets to be involved. It's flexible. There's a lot of opportunities to learn out in different locations, in different materials. Learning happens everywhere. So, and this is our opportunity to do that. It's independent. So students either who need to work a little slower or a little faster or at a different time of day, it's all going to be able to be worked around. So students can work on their bed or at a desk or at 4 o'clock in the afternoon or on Saturday. One thing about the Washougal Learning Academy is it will be guided and monitored by teachers. So we need to partner together to make that work. So parents might have ideas of what they want to do, and that's great. And then I get to work with you to make sure that, like, if you have questions or you need some help and like, how do I do this? Then I can work with you to do that. It's not just all on me. So we're definitely going to work together. The district is providing core instructional materials. However, that being said, if there's something that you prefer, then we can bring that in and go over it and see if it meets the needs of the child. And if it does, then we can go forward with it. We are definitely looking forward to having some electives that are family friendly and multi-age. And we're going to get to that in a little bit. And so let me talk about the instructional materials. The instructional materials, again, you're going to get an iPad unless your child is already in the district and already has one. So every child in the district, every student has an access to the iPad. We do have core materials for instruction through Calvert, Edmonton, and of course we do have the adopted curriculum from the district. That being said, parents can also supplement curriculum. We can choose, parents can choose alternative core materials, and then I can work with you to help make that fit or find other materials that will work. Okay, the exciting part, electives. So electives can work in a lot of different ways, and we're kind of seeing that now that we have a space, eventually we want to be able to work together, like even come together in groups and work. Right now, we don't have, I'll show you later, I don't have any electives planned because this is really about you guys. So I want families to help me come up with elective choices and then staffing them too. So maybe you have an interest in something. Maybe you're really good, you have a second language that you'd like to share, or you're really good at coding, or maybe you want to teach everybody how to play chess. We can work on that together and then provide different electives, and families can choose to participate. The elective classes will happen each semester. The length might vary depending on the topic, but it's likely to be about 9 weeks. The materials for those electives will be provided by the district for the students. Field trips. I was so excited when I learned this part. We can do learning anywhere. So we can take, we can figure out a field trip, get a group discount or something, and we can go and do it together to build community, to do all those things. Unfortunately, a lot of those are closed right now. So we might have to wait a little bit until post-COVID or post-ish COVID. But I'm really excited to be able to do this. I'm like, oh yes, I love field trips. Students learn the best from field trips. So this sounds like a lot of fun, and I'm really excited about it, as you can tell. Then there's some nitty-gritty kind of things that we have to do for this to work. We have to have a written student learning plan in place because it's all individual. The student is having an individualized education plan, which means we need to figure out what that is and write it down, and then so that it'll help guide you, me, and the student on how to provide that education. Part of that student plan is for parents, families to figure out what kind of schedule are you going to have. I just observed an intake with a family that both parents work during the day. One works at home, but obviously he has to do his job. And so they're going to do schooling in the afternoons and on weekends. That might be the case for some families. It doesn't matter. It works for your family. But the important thing is most people do better when there is some kind of routine. So we're going to help you figure out what that routine is for your family. So successful learning, again, I said that, daily routines, very important for students and families, but it can work for your family. It doesn't have to be, it does not have to look like a typical school day where students get up, eat breakfast, go to school, work for 6, 8, 7 hours, and then they're done. It could be, you know, you work for an hour or something in the morning. It could be, you know, go do something healthy and take, because all of that stuff, eating healthy, taking healthy breaks, exercise, those are all important, and those are built into the school day as well. So you can build those into your days, but the big thing is it doesn't even have to look like a traditional school day. You can work on Saturdays, you can work in the evenings. It's all up to you guys as long as you have one. You're going to cover your core instruction. You're going to have electives. You're going to have supplemental learning from other sources, whether that's something I provide or something that you've brought in. We're going to communicate weekly with each other. And the most important key to successful learning is family involvement and support. Without that, it won't happen. However, I am here to support you. So we will be doing 1 hour a week group activities. So this might be the elective time. This might be some other lesson, like starting next week, I'd like to do some get to know you activities. We may have to do this through Zoom to start with, but eventually we'd be able to do this more in person. I will provide family check-ins every week. I will also be monitoring student progress every month. That is with the student and with the parent. So it's not just me checking like online or something to see if that's, no, it's me talking to you and saying, hey, how's it going? And is there something that you need help with? Or are you doing well? And, oh, look, you're making good progress in this area. Let's work on this. Keep going. So teacher support, important, but not as important as family support. Assessments, in every educational life, assessments must come. All full-time students have the ability to participate in district and statewide assessments, just like every other student. Part-time home-based students might participate, may not, I'm not sure yet. But there is, if your child is in kindergarten, there is participation in something called WLA Kids. That is to make sure they're developmentally progressing. There will be district screening assessments. There will be built-in assessments to the curriculum. And then, of course, the state assessment, 3rd through 8th grade in the spring. So, like, take a break, take a breath. Okay, that's a lot of information. So, if this sounds right to you, so what's the intake process? Well, the family shows interest in the Washougal Learning Academy. You did that already. You joined this meeting. You're watching this. Then the orientation meeting, that's what we're doing right now. So you have to decide as a family unit if this is the right choice. If this is the right choice and you decide to choose Washougal Learning Academy, you will need to schedule a meeting with me, and it may be me, it might be another teacher, to develop a written student learning plan. Then the district, after we have the written student learning plan, sorry, I'm still getting used to the new technology, new verbs, new words, new everything. You will be enrolled in the Washougal Learning Academy by the district, and then we can begin. So the next step, when you decide that Washougal Learning Academy is right for you, is to contact me, and I'm sure that this will be posted somewhere as well. So right now I do not have a phone number. We just found out today that I have a location, so yay. And then you will contact me and we'll we'll set up a meeting. Since we are starting, we're like working under a time crunch here. We may set up meetings with multiple families if they're willing to do multiple family intake meetings so that we can develop, like if the kids who are in 4th grade, they may look pretty similar, so we might do that. A 3rd grade, kindergarten, such and such, so that we can make this go a little faster and get everybody going by September 2nd. Now we're going to open it up to questions. I know I talk really fast. I really apologize. So if you have questions, please feel free to ask.
And Rebecca, I just wanted to piggyback too on the group meetings for those written student learning plans or developing those. I think it'll also be a good way to start learning pods and to build community too, so that parents don't feel isolated when they're teaching in a different environment. So I think that will be important too in setting up those communities.
Because when we do the weekly groups, that will be a multi-age and multi-family as well. And so you're right, it would be a good way to start connecting with other families in the community, in the Washougal Learning Academy community.
And I see a couple of questions. This one looks like probably one for me, Rebecca, so I'll take it. It asks about funding and transportation for field trips. So a couple options for transportation. Sometimes parents might choose to drive their students to these locations for the field trips and be involved. There might be other times where we're taking students on field trips. And funding, our typical district policy or procedure when we have field trips is we ask parents to pay for the admission fee, but those who do not have funds, we don't want that to be any kind of an obstacle to participation. So we would, as a district, cover those funds for those who that would be a hardship for. So we make sure that those are available to all students. Another question that came up, and Rebecca, you could probably answer this one, and it is, are we required to use Calvert Edmonton core curriculum?
You are not required to use Calvert or Edmonton or the core curriculum. If you have another curriculum that you feel would be beneficial, I can meet with the parent and we can work on that and look at if you're going to meet the learning requirements with that curriculum and it looks like it's going to work, then we can write that into the student learning plan.
All right, thank you, Rebecca. Another question is, will it be easy to have our middle school child take electives through school like band and art and then do core learning through Washougal Learning Academy? And yes, you do have options to do that. You can enroll part-time in your school building and part-time in Washougal Learning Academy. So we can really build a program that meets your needs. So if you decide you want to participate in band, we would enroll you in your school just for band, and the rest of your curriculum you could access through Washougal Learning Academy. So it's very flexible.
I see a question, is it aligned and similar to the Washington Connections Academy? I don't actually know the Washington Connections Academy program, but I believe it's an online only. And so all of their work is provided online, and whereas ours, you're going to have opportunities to meet together and work together in different groups and do different things as a community. And we have more freedom for the curriculum as well. Let's see, can my daughter join regular school when it reopens normally? Renee?
Yeah, so there will be options. If you want to join school more in person, we are asking for a commitment of a semester for the Washougal Learning Academy. That way it helps us with staffing our numbers and providing curriculum, and also gives consistency for your child. So there might be differences in what they're teaching in the classroom versus the materials that we're using for Washougal Learning Academy. And so if you're in the Washougal Learning Academy for a semester, that will allow us to have a plan for transition.
So as far as grades, we're not grading the traditional way like that happens in middle school. Maybe, I don't know what it looks like in the high school Washougal Learning Academy. They probably, it's more about meeting the standards so that they can graduate. But in middle school, elementary school, it's more about meeting the standard. Are they making progress? Are they growing? Are they doing the things they need to do for that particular subject, for that learning? So no, I would say there's not grades, not the like A, B, C. There's more, hey, he knows how to do this and that, and he knows the standards. And I honestly, as an elementary school teacher, we've been teaching with standards for a while, and that makes a lot more sense. And I believe the middle school would really like to go that way too. But so no grades, but it's more of a passing the classes and meeting the requirements of making progress. Special services. So yes, you can have a student with special services in the Washougal Learning Academy. That might be a good way to go for a child who has difficulty learning in a traditional classroom, who needs things a little differently. Services can be provided if they need speech or occupational therapy or something like that, so that they can meet with the personnel in the schools. As far as the IEP, I believe that I will be covering that because that's one of my endorsements. So I believe I will be taking care of the IEPs, but that could change depending on how many we get. But the special services in Washougal will definitely cover the special services for kids. If your child struggles during this, I think that's really important that we are communicating with each other, talking if there's things that I can offer suggestions or support to help you. It's going to take some time to adjust for everyone who has never done learning from home before. Most kids haven't, you all did it in the spring, so hopefully you have a beginning place, but there's definitely some suggestions, and if it doesn't work, then it is possible to go back to the regular classroom and what they're doing, as Renee said. Are there services for children who live in homes who qualify for free and reduced meals? Renee, I'm gonna let you answer that one.
Yes, we will provide, we will be providing services to students. I was trying to see the question on here and flipping back between that and another question I was answering. Rebecca, what was that one again?
Are there services for children who live in homes who qualify for free reduced meals?
Yes, I think during this time where we have COVID, we do have plans for serving meals. And I am not sure if we've released, Mary, you might help me with that one, if we've released the plan for where meals will be picked up yet and what the plan is for delivery of meals during this time.
So we're still in the process of finalizing that, and I think Les will be putting something out on our communication network to make sure that everyone knows where those meals are.
Okay. So more to come on the meal plan and what that might look like.
Okay. Could my high schooler still take ASL for her foreign language requirements? So right now I'm only doing the kindergarten through 8th grade, and then the high school, Mark Castle is in charge of the high school program. So I believe you'd have to ask him that question. Will kids be beforehand to make sure they can, okay, I'm trying to understand this question, hold on. Beforehand.
Just chime in for Mark before you're reading that one.
Okay, so that's going to be a tough question. So we do have the screeners, and we could do the an assessment to see if you're questioning that. There are some things I can look at to help guide what grade placement. But you know, I think that if we put you in a program and it's very independent, so if it's not working, we can always change the program to something else. So it's very, we can just redo the student learning plan if it's not working. So it's very independent. If you find you need to go faster or slower or figure out something, then we can do that. Are the Edmonton and Calvert programs aligned with the Washougal School District curriculum? So when they hopefully return in person next year, they are on the right track. So they are completely different programs. They aren't teaching the same thing the same way as the curriculum in the classroom. So if I taught 3rd grade last year, I would not expect them, they're not going to get the same stories and stuff. Hopefully they're getting the same skills, but they might be at a different pace or in a different place in the curriculum. When will the work be due? Well, that's kind of up to you. So there is there's a pacing guide within the programs. So that's what we're looking for, is to make sure that they are making progress and they're still moving ahead. So, you know, if you're doing the lessons on a regular basis, you're going to be fine. How will they still earn credit? So kindergarten through 8th grade don't earn credits the same way they do in the high school. So they just, they take their classes, they're learning the skills that will make them successful in high school so that they can earn those credits. No, you don't have to attend online only. There are other options. We can do paper and pencil work. We can do projects. There's a lot of different things that we can do. The middle school WLA program is different than the high school because they're not earning credits. So at the high school, they have to earn credits to graduate. And so middle school don't have to earn credits to graduate. They just need those classes. They need 6th grade math, or they need Washington State history, and they need language arts. So they're still working on those things. Let's see, as a parent who does not want my child to in-person meetings or classes because of health-related concerns, will this become an issue with using this version? No, I would not say that it's going to become an issue. Even if we have electives, you can choose not to come to an in-person elective if you choose, but we'll probably not be doing that until the health issues are better. So you can completely work at home if you want to and not go anywhere. You can completely isolate yourself. So you can communicate with me on Zoom and we can just do things that way. I'm hearing that home learning is approximately a 6-hour day commitment. So the commitment for time, so the state expects students to have about 27 3/4 hours of learning a week. So the traditional school setting, we figured that out by putting them in school for a certain amount of time with certain classes. So it's an estimated time. So if you're working at home, and we're going to put that 27 3/4 hour estimated time on the paperwork, but you might be doing things a lot faster and getting them done sooner than you would in a normal classroom, because we don't have, hopefully, you don't have a lot of interruptions, although you might have a baby screaming in the background. That's an interruption and a distraction. But the student can work on these assignments. It might take them 20 minutes, whereas in a classroom, it might take us 50 minutes to finish the same assignment. So it's all up to you on how much time you're spending, but you can also break that time up. You're not tied to a regular 6-hour day. So you might do like a couple of hours in the morning, and then you might do a few hours in the afternoon or something. So yeah, there is definitely, it's a full-time commitment because it's school, but you can definitely break things up according to the way you want them. I hope that answered that question. What is the average amount of time students will spend in school? So again, that's up to you. The state estimates 27 3/4 a week, but with this program, we're not boxing you into a certain time frame. You can do it when, like on a Saturday or a Sunday or 7 o'clock at night. And it might take you 20 minutes to do a 40-minute estimated activity. So you can do those things. Is it interactive or is it mostly reading and worksheets? Okay, so I'll be honest with you. We're still working on getting the Calvert up and running. We need to get, I need some more information on that myself, but it's, you know, we can make this as fun as you want it to be. We can take the information and maybe you're learning about government and you want to do like a big poster, or you want to go and do a presentation or write a skit, or you know, do these fun things. That is totally up to you, and that is so much more fun in learning. So again, this is very individualized. Can my son take algebra at JMS? I believe he can. So Renee is nodding her head. So so if we want, we can write a plan and he can be enrolled in band and algebra at the school, and then he can do the rest of the program at home. Will the assigned teacher be assigning assignments weekly or daily? So if you go with Edmentum and Calvert, with those as the instructional material, then it's pretty much set up for you for the entire course. If you decide to go a different way, then you're going to help plan how often or how much is going to get done. But we do need to make progress, so you can't just stop. We just need to keep going. So it might be a weekly plan. You might be a planner and like plan for a whole month. It might just be planned for the project, and it might take 2 weeks to cover the project. I can help you with that, and I can, like at the beginning, I might send out some assignments. Like the first thing I'd like to do is like some kind of get to know you activity. And I might like say, okay, next week when we meet on Zoom, we're going to have everybody share what they did. And then, so that's a weekly assignment.
Hey, Rebecca.
Yes.
There's some questions in the Q&A that weren't in the chat.
Okay.
And, I don't know if you can open those up, or and if you want to address those, or
can you share them with me?
Are up on top, there's a Q&A.
I have to go out of my, I can stop.
I can read some of those, Rebecca. I think you've answered some of them.
Okay.
And so let's see, there are some questions I think about the differences between impact education or working with your child's teacher in the classroom where they're rostered currently, working in, joining the Washougal Learning Academy or homeschool. So there are 3 different programs. And there were some questions too about distance learning. Are we doing distance learning in the public school? So yes, so there is Impact Ed, which will start out in a distance learning model. And in that model, you are still rostered with your traditional teacher. And when they return to hybrid model or in classroom, you would be with that cohort and you would be working with your grade level teacher. They would provide instruction. There will be a mix of synchronous, which is live opportunities like the Zoom meeting we're doing now, and some asynchronous assignments, things that you would work on independently. The plan would be for about 2 hours during each day to be synchronous, and you would access that using your iPad to be able to access the synchronous presentation from the teacher, and then use either Seesaw or Google Classroom to work on assignments. So that would be Washougal Learning, or sorry, that would be the Impact Ed, and attendance for that is taken daily. So there's an expectation that you're attending and doing work daily in that program. Washougal Learning Academy, which Rebecca explained, would be working with the teacher to develop a written student learning plan. The attendance is based on the written student learning plan and the learning that happens, not necessarily your seat time in a classroom. So you're not taking attendance on a daily basis. You'll be attending the program by working through the student learning plan and attending monthly meetings to talk about your progress. And so those are things that will happen with the teacher. You'll meet weekly and you'll have a monthly review. And then homeschooling. Homeschooling is outside of our district. And so you might hear some people refer to homeschooling through a district. What they're participating in is one of these non-traditional experiences that are supported by the district. And the district offers curriculum and materials, access to technology, access to a teacher, whereas in a homeschool program, we would not provide those supports. So homeschooling a lot of times is a great fit for families who may want to bring in curriculum that is religious-based, or they have another reason for supporting homeschool, which are things that we cannot do in the public school system. So I hope that answers some of those questions on the difference between Impact Ed, which is enrolling, staying on the roster with your classroom teacher, Washougal Learning Academy, which would be this program that we're building around either online learning or distance learning, and then homeschooling. And Mark, did you have anything to add to that?
I see a question that Mark could add to this.
Go ahead. Which one?
It was, how is this, oh gosh, where did it just go?
How different from homeschooling?
Oh, why would you do this instead of the online schooling through one of the others? And you were explaining to me about how it has to do with the funding, that they're paying taxes for this district, and so getting the benefit out of this district, correct?
Correct. Yeah, everybody pays taxes, and it goes into the general fund at the state and then gets dispersed all over the state. When you enroll here, you get an opportunity to direct your tax dollars to this family-friendly program. And so that money is going to stay here. And then since if you choose to do this, you're going to be on the ground floor of creating this family-friendly program that's really tailored to your child's and your family's needs. So you're going to be able to direct your tax dollars to stay here in Washougal. And the benefit one of the benefits someone asked is you're going to have some local support, which may be different from other online programs around the state. So you'll be able to come to the W, you'll be able to access Rebecca or the other staff members that are part of this, and they'll be here and they'll be available either on site or, through Zoom or Google or whatever, but you'll have that local support here. And I found that's been a big plus for people to have that local support, which is what WLA is going to provide.
You'll probably run into us at the Safeway as well.
Yes.
I see some questions about how long they can be part of this program. So this isn't just a program that's just here for this year because of COVID. As Renee said, she's been working on getting this going for 2 years. This is not something that we want to just do for 6 months and then have it go away. We want this to be a permanent part of the Washougal School District. So if your child loves the Washougal Learning Academy and wants to keep going, they can go through the whole year, and they could do next year. And then as far as going and participating in extracurricular activities at the public school, I'm not sure of that answer, and I will direct that to Renee or Mary.
So we would offer those opportunities. I think one of the questions was, could they participate in Spirit Week, or go to the games and whatnot? And the answer is yes.
Okay, thank you. The big thing with all of this is that you do have access to a teacher. So if you're having trouble trying to figure out how to get a 5-year-old to sit down and do some work, maybe the 5-year-old doesn't get to sit down. Maybe the 5-year-old needs to move while they're working, and I can help you with that. And if I don't have an answer, I can find the answer for you, because there's a lot of really amazing teachers in this district who I've had the opportunity to work with, and they might have some really good ideas as well. The difference between Calvert and Edmentum is that they used to be 2 different companies, but Edmentum bought Calvert, or they merged or something. Calvert is really designed for the K-5, and Edmentum is really designed for the 6, 7, 8. Actually, Calvert is K-6. Well, Calvert technically covers more than that. I'm still learning, so please bear with me. The suggestion that we were given was to enroll through Calvert for K-6 and then Edmentum for 7, 8, but we do have the 6th grade classes as well. Or anyway, so if you're in middle school, you're likely going to be getting core curriculum from Edmentum, and if you're in elementary school, you're getting curriculum from Calvert. But so I'm still learning, and I will work with you. That's the great thing, is we're going to work together to design and make all of this happen. You're right, the options do seem very extensive. If you're like not sure what you want to do, and you're like, yeah, I'm not sure, we might want to just go with one of the online providers, and then you're like, hey, I'd like to try something different, and then we can do that. Or maybe you don't want to do the online providers, and you're like, yeah, I'd really like to try something else, and you might do some exploring, or I might have some suggestions for you. That's why it's all individualized. If you attend Impact Ed when school reopens, can you choose to go back or stay distance learning? My understanding is that Renee wants you to commit to at least a semester of the Washougal Learning Academy, but if you choose to do the Impact Ed and then later join Washougal Learning Academy, you can do that as well. I haven't actually seen the lessons per se online. I believe they're very much geared to, traditional kinds of learning things with like here's the information, and then do some activities to show you understand the information. But I will work with you on that. How is attendance taken? Attendance is taken when I meet with you once a week to see how things are going. And if you're making progress or not. So there is no daily attendance. Would this work for a high schooler? You would have to ask Mark Castle that question. My guess is yes, it would.
Rebecca, there's also a question about
Training
Cascadia Tech. And
yeah, that's
for juniors and seniors, and they'd be able to take the WLA in the high school as well as Cascadia Tech.
Yep.
Yes. Can they advance to the next grade? So I talked to Renee about this, and the answer is yes. She would like to approach it the same way that we approach kids in the public school. If they're ready to advance to the next grade, we meet together, we discuss that, and if it's the right way to go, which is it's a little more difficult when you're in a classroom, and so you're looking at a 5th grader going to middle school. But when you're working remotely from home, that's not quite as big of an issue. So yes, you can advance through the program more quickly than you would if you're boxed into a traditional school day. Is coursework and lessons provided? So this is not going to be me delivering a lesson like it is in Impact Ed. So in Impact Ed, the teachers are providing the lessons and then the students do work. This is much more independent with you. You're going to figure, if it's the online provider, then you're going to do those activities, and then you can supplement to those activities. So if you want to do more things, it's very much up to you. So this is a family-oriented process. It's a family-oriented education.
So there's a question about what about if I don't have a good relationship with my kid? It's Rebecca has already started a website that has all kinds of resources that are going to be beneficial in how to create a sustainable learning environment at home. And there's some great strategies so that as you work together with your child, there'll be some tools to help you work better, opportunities to reflect, opportunity to learn about learning styles, about scheduling, about multiple intelligences, about providing where you can find resources and all kinds of helps for you as a family to help out with that. And so I think you'll find that there'll be help to help you address that issue. And one of the goals is that families are stronger through this process. And so there.
Oh, I see a question about how will my child stay motivated. So that's where the weekly check-in meetings come in with, hey, you're making great progress, keep going. It's very much like elementary school. So I don't give grades in elementary school. I work on, hey, you know how to multiply, or look at all the, these multiplication and you need to still work on these ones. It's about mastering the skills, not about, oh, I have an A in the class, which doesn't really tell you anything about what they've learned. So in this program, it's all about the learning. What are they learning and are they making growth? So this program isn't designed to be completely in alignment with the public classroom program, the Impact Ed. So this program is designed to be its own unique program for families who this fits for. So if they go back, it would be much like transferring from a school, sorry. If you move and you come from another school, they aren't going to have been taught the exact same way in the exact lessons that they had before. So, and if that's a concern, then you might want to talk about that some more. But this isn't designed to keep them on track until they can go back to public school. This is designed for families who truly want to work at home and with their family unit to provide an education. And yes, this is going to work for some families because of COVID. And I would say it's not, they're still going to be learning the 3rd grade skills or the 4th grade skills or whatever they are. But you're right, it's not in perfect alignment with what's going on with Impact Ed. Differences between the curriculums. I would say that I'm not quite sure how to approach that question. You can look them up online. I can try to share some information with you. I'm not sure if you're talking about the Edmentum and the Calvert, really that one's about the grade level, how old they are and what classes they provide, the subjects. But if you're talking about other outside curriculums, we can talk about that. You might have a curriculum that you're interested in. For the transition to high school, Washougal Learning Academy, I would assume it's going to be a very smooth transition because the student will have already learned how to work at home. And so the classes at the high school are going to look very similar. I actually did the same training on Edmentum that the high school teachers did. So they're using Edmentum for the high school as well. But the high school teachers are also designing their own classes so that they can provide classes that are for them. And so that's what they're doing. No, you won't be able to meet with an actual grade level teacher. The grade, it's not me giving a grade, it's you and I meeting together and saying they're making progress and keep going. The physical paper and book materials for Calvert, I believe there are some, but I'm not entirely sure. We are still working on that. So I will have to get back to you on that question. That is a good question to write down. So I believe Renee is going to write down questions. How would you go about signing your child up for this program? That's a really good question, and I'm going to cover that in just a moment. Counseling. If you need counseling services, we can definitely talk to a counselor at one of the schools, and we can provide the same services that the public school buildings have. Will students will their tasks be sent to Google Classroom or email? You know what, I would like to work with you guys on what's going to work best there. I am perfectly comfortable with doing Google Classroom, and I'm perfectly comfortable with email. So I would like to work with you guys on developing that. And it looks like Les Brown put a website to my Facebook page, or not my Facebook page, I'm sorry, my website. So let me go there now. So this is the website, that I have been working on creating. It is still a work in progress. So please be understanding that there is going to be some changes to it, but I've been trying to get all of this done in a very short amount of time. So when you go to this website, so this is going to take us there. I've been trying to put in a lot of different information here. So this is just an introduction to the program. Don't get stuck on an escalator is something I work with my kids all the time. So there's contact information so that you can contact me. I do not have a phone number yet, but I do have an email, so please contact my email. Then I've tried to provide as much information as possible for you, and I'll be adding to this. So planning for success. So this form, this document, you can, there's a file at the bottom that you can print the whole thing off, or you can just look at it on here. So you might have multiple children, so you can make sure that you're keeping track of what classes and who's the consultant for that. And then there's just a blank document on here so that you can kind of sketch out your day, what's going to work for your family. Notice there's Saturdays and Sundays, so you can work on that as well. So far, the course syllabi, so each course has to have a syllabus with it. So far, I have downloaded the ones for middle school. So if you click on these, you can actually see what they're going to teach. What is it that they expect? I do not have the elementary ones in here yet, but I am working on it. The electives is blank because we don't have any yet, because I get to work with you on designing them. I'm very excited about that. I'm trying to put in here some links that you might be interested in. So there's something called Open Educational Resources, and this has, these are resources that are available to anybody. So there's great information here. And then I thought, well, you know what? The families are taking on the job of teacher. So they might want some background information. These are the things that teachers get taught when we're in school. So there's like the Maslow's hierarchy of needs. And what I've tried to do is put some websites in here with some articles that I found, just in case you want to go and read some more about it. One of the things that I think that Mark alluded to was learning styles. So I don't believe that like one person only learns through music, but that might be a real strength for them, and maybe they need to learn that way. So I can work with you on that as well. Again, there's some articles here. levels of questioning. We want to develop critical thinkers. So we have lots of questioning techniques. What kinds of words? So we have the basic words, and then they move up in how complex and how much thinking is required. I'm also working on gathering information about behavior so that you can work on creating a positive environment within your family if you want. You're not required to do this. So there's information here. Mark suggested this one which is 40 developmental assets. So this, like, I like the one about the chores. They help guide students and families in developing successful, happy kids that will become successful, happy adults. So these are all developmentally appropriate. So I'm here to work with you to make this as positive of an experience as I possibly can, to individualize your child's education to so that they can keep learning and growing. Whether you choose to do that just for this year because of COVID, or whether this is like, yeah, this is something I've been looking for. We want to keep going with what we're doing. We want students to keep learning, to keep growing. And then I don't know what happened to my screen anyway. So I can still answer a couple more questions, but otherwise, I just want to say thank you. This has been a really interesting time for me. It's going to be a really interesting time for you. We're all learning new normals here, but if you do decide that Washougal Learning Academy is right for your family and for your child's journey in this education, please contact me and I will be happy to get started on creating. We'll set up a meeting as soon, like within the next couple days, like Monday, Tuesday. We're gonna be writing student plans, and we're gonna be getting you going so that we can get you started, especially if you don't have an iPad yet. We talked today about how we're gonna set it up so that next week you can come in. We will send that information out to you, but we will set up a time and a place, probably the district office, unless the portable is free, where you can come and get an iPad. You can get more information, like things that if you need them. But yeah, so like the new kindergartners don't have iPads yet. If you haven't been in this district before, we sent all the iPads home in the spring. So we need to get iPads to students who don't have them yet. If you've already submitted the survey, you still need to contact me to let me know that you are, that this is what you want to do and where you want to go. Is the curriculum going to be ready by September 2nd? If it's not, I will have some kind of lessons, some kind of project to go for the first week that we can do. Maybe we can talk about what it means to be a citizen, or voting, or something that we can teach very basic to kindergarten and then keep working up the skills, and work 8th graders can do something. So if the Edmonton and Calvert isn't ready to go on September 2nd, I will have something in place for you so that you can do something. Unless you have ideas, I would gladly take ideas. But I'm really hoping to have both of the online providers ready to go. How do I inform my child's current school? So when you let me know and I have a written student learning plan, I will be notifying the registrar to move the registration from your school to the Washougal Learning Academy. So thank you very much. I appreciate you coming and asking all these good questions, things to think about. We're still working on it. You are on the ground floor. We are going to build this. We're going to build this together. So if you have ideas, we want to hear them.
Well, thank you, Rebecca. Wow, I want to be a student again so I can join WLA. So thank you for your experience, your enthusiasm, your excitement. Again, ground floor, what an exciting time for all of us. Renee, did you have any closing comments?
Yeah, I just want to mirror Rebecca's excitement and just say we are excited to be building this program together. I think there were some questions that came up just on curriculum and materials, and there's some flexibility there. We have things that are built. If you're the kind of person that wants an online program that's ready to go, we can provide you with that. If you want to use the district materials that are written materials, you have access to that. If you have something that you're thinking outside the box that you want to use for science or for other materials, we can make that happen. So it's a really flexible program, and right now we're thinking the sky's the limit. So come on this journey with us and this new adventure and help us build it.